Hi, welcome to James Miller Lifeology, where you will learn to simplify and transform your life. My name is James Miller. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and a composer. In this episode, I wanted to pose the question of who are you, or who am I? So many times in life, we have many monikers or many descriptors that we use to describe who we are to ourselves and to others. But what we don't often realize is those can actually be very limiting. We will often take a behavior or an event that we experienced, and that then becomes a label of who we are. For example, sometimes we tell ourselves that we are the divorced person, or we are the depressed person, or we are the dumb person, or we are the widowed person, or we are the person who was laid off, or the person who was fired from their job. And so what we don't realize is when we do that, those events can be very traumatic for us when we experience them. So anytime we use that label, what we don't realize is subconsciously, we then evoke that trauma, that level of trauma in that split second. And then throughout our day, when we go on, we actually have that trauma that's kind of underneath in our subconscious, and then it affects our mood, and it affects how we view ourselves throughout that day. So it's important to recognize that a behavior or an event that we experienced is not who we are. That's simply something we went through. And so when we get stunted at that time frame, then we will never be able to completely move forward beyond that because we keep pulling ourselves back to that traumatic event or to that behavior. And so it's really important for us to ask ourselves, well, who am I? An event is not who I am. A behavior is not who I am. It's something that I do. And so it's important for you to fill in the blank of who you are. You are smart. You are intelligent. You are kind. You are generous. You are loving. Those are the attributes that we should define ourselves. But when we define ourselves as a behavior or something we're struggling with, then that becomes the primary aspect of who we are, and not truly the persona or the personality that we really have. And so I would really admonish you or really encourage you to ask yourself, who am I? How do I describe myself to others? Now, yes, there are some events where we actually have to say this is what I went through because that's for demographic purposes, etc. But when we talk about that or really think about that in our personal life and use those other attributes that we don't have to use, and that's how we define ourselves, then we are limiting ourselves. We will never reach our highest potential when we limit ourselves based on behaviors or events that we went through. So the future is yours. You get to describe who you are, what you are. And so whatever you think about, whatever you say aloud in your mind or to others, that is the direction you're going to go towards. That is the person you're going to be. And so when you draw on those other amazing attributes of who you are, that's when those will shine forth because we're not being stunted by those traumatic emotions that come up when we don't even realize it. So the more you tell people of the attributes that you really appreciate and that you really enjoy about yourself, those will come to the forefront, and that's what will shine out more in your personality. So thank you so much for watching James Miller Lifeology. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.